Hello, I'm Bernie Hayes, and today we'll be talking about St. Louis parks and recreation and forestry with Evelyn Rice-Peebles today on The Bernie Hayes Show. And welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes, and as I promised, my guest is Evelyn Rice-Peebles. Ms. Peebles, how are you?
I am well, thank you.
You're looking terrific. Oh, that outfit you're wearing is stunning. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you very much. I have a niece in Detroit, Michigan, who has her own boutique. It's her own business, and I buy almost all of my clothes from her and my accessories, and it's Afrocentric, and it's her own business, so I feel that I'm helping the community, I'm helping my family, and her clothes are fun. Thank you.
That's wonderful. That's great. Parks and Recreations. Everyone knows Evelyn Rice-Peebles from Parks and Recreations. Tell me, what's your title and what do you do?
My exact title is Commissioner of Recreation, and that means that I oversee all of the city recreation centers. That includes the Marquette Center, the Booter Center, the Cherokee Center, 12th and Park, the Wold Center, the Gamble Center, and also the, who am I forgetting? Tandy. Oh my goodness. Khalil would be upset with me. Yes, Tandy Center, which is a wonderful center also.
Now, are they reopened yet? Because I know the COVID-19 pandemic had shut down there for a while. Are you reopening yet?
We have reopened. And of course, the pandemic changed everything.
Yes.
But we were able to successfully operate summer day camps. And we're now open with, of course, reduced programming, social distancing, following all the rules and the protocol. The children are loving it. We assist them in the mornings, those that Zoom for school. And then afternoon and evening is more free time. Entertainment, kind of recreating, although we're not doing organized sports. I know the centers are so popular. How did you get involved in this? That is a long story. I guess it started when I was maybe 9, and my parents took me to the Wold Center to learn how to swim. And I also went to Tandy to learn how to swim. And I'm now I can save my own life, let's say that.
That's great.
And I started as Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. And then I've been blessed to be the Commissioner of Recreation. So I've been working in Parks, Recreation, and Forestry many years. And I've learned to think, and perhaps it's a tad selfish, I think we are one of the best departments in city government.
What's the mission of the department?
The mission of the department is to provide spaces and places for people to come, recreate themselves, relax, have a brief respite from the cares of the world. That's basically Parks and Recreation. Forestry's job is to plant trees, remove trees that are no longer thriving, and also help with debris removal and cleanup. So overall, I say that we are the fun place. We help people have fun.
I agree. I recently, from the Wolf Jazz Institute and Black Radio Hall of Fame, you provided the services for us at Booter Recreation Center, and you came by and visited with us. And Ollie Stewart was also co-sponsoring that. And I know that each year, when Ollie had her coming together, you were very instrumental in helping her get the space at the Muni for her yearly event.
That's true. Yeah. Helping Ollie is a joy. I mean, it's kind of like helping your favorite person do their favorite thing. Ollie is such a people person and has been, and actually taught me a lot when I started my career. I owe a lot to Ollie Stewart. And yes, Booter Park is a beautiful park. I really enjoyed the event. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming. You know, but people say this about you all the time. All the different recreation centers say that you are instrumental in helping them and keeping them on track and doing anything that they ask you to do, you'll do it.
That's pretty true. I believe in leading from behind And as I say to my staff, if I had all the answers, I could do everything. And of course I don't. So we have very good synergy. I listen a lot. I think one of my strong points is that I'm really clear about what I don't know. And so I learn from others because they do know. And when we all come together and we're supportive and the thing about the recreation staff, they're such good people. People who enjoy working with children tend to be good people. Mm-hmm. And I like to say the children kind of smell my staff. They know they're authentic. They know they're not fearful. Most of my staff have been around young people all their lives, mm-hmm. so they're comfortable with them and they honor them as individuals. And I love supporting the staff.
Doug Easton and I visited with you at your offices a couple of times, and just like you said, the staff there is just so congenial, so nice. So they treat us like royalty, and I must compliment you for that. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. You are royalty. I mean, I sort of grew up listening to you and learning from you and hearing Doug Easton in the morning. And I know that with the social media, so much has changed.
Yes.
But I think that your influence and his influence on people like me was important. And I hope that young people in this generation and generations to come also have role models.
You're very kind. Tell us about your growing up. Tell us about your education and how you chose this career.
Wow. Well, truthfully, the career chose me.
Okay.
All right. My undergraduate degree is from SIU Edwardsville, and my graduate degree is SIU Carbondale. But other than that, I'm completely and totally educated through St. Louis Public Schools. Mm-hmm. I love St. Louis Public Schools. I am a fan of public schools. I won't get started. I have taught school for years, and if there's one group that I think is undervalued in society, it is educators. Because teachers have to be social workers, psychologists, parents. There's so much that teachers have to do, and they do it daily. And I love teachers. Anyway, I went from teaching to public service, and I've been with city government over 30 years now, and I've had so many people be so kind to me and show me how to get things done. The most important influence in my life, though, is my dad and mom, mm-hmm. who taught me never, ever forget who you are, where you come from, who other people are, and in the spirit of Kwanzaa, each one teach one. Oh. I've always felt it's been my job to pull somebody up, to teach one, to affect one life at a time, because then we have the ripple effect in it, and we all come up together.
I can tell by your dress, you do believe in the Nguzo Saba.
Yes, I do. I do.
I can tell. With this pandemic, it's going to end someday. I know you take it slow. What's the future of Park and Recreation and Forestry after the pandemic ends?
I think we're going to just explode with popularity, energy, and programs, because we're just chomping at the bit. We're ready to go, and we've been brainstorming and Zooming, and we get together, and we have so many things to roll out. When this pandemic ends, and it will, when it's supposed to, sure. It will end, we will be ready.
Mm-hmm. This is wonderful. So much I want to ask you, so much more I want to tell you about. I want to come back and ask you about your faith and everything else, because I know you're a very faithful person and a religious person.
Okay.
But the Park and Recreation, the person wanted to give a family reunion and so forth, and the activities at Parks and Recreations. I want to ask you about that too when we come back. But we'll just take a short break.
Okay.
My guest is Evelyn Rice-Peebles. She's with Parks and Recreation Forestry for the City of St. Louis. And we're here at the New Life Evangelistic Center at 1428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. And our zip code is 63114. But we'll be back with Evelyn Rice-Peebles after this.
You don't want to miss this upcoming election. November 3rd is going to be historical in America. And every caring person needs to go to the polls and vote. So if you haven't registered, you better do it right away. If you have and you plan to mail in a ballot, get it mailed off immediately. But whatever you do, vote. Vote in one way or another November 3rd. The issues are so profound at this particular time. The history of this country is at stake, and your vote is very, very important. So as you pray, seek God, discover the biblical principles that we see throughout the scriptures that tell us to love, yes, the unborn, the fatherless, the widowed, the hurting, the homeless, the migrant. So many people are hurting at this particular time in this country. There's so much social discontent and so much frustration and so much anger. The people of God need to vote and vote for candidates that are going to bring this country together, that we're going to be able to experience the healing and hope that's so absolutely essential at this particular time. There are many, many people that are hurting. There are many, many people that are depending upon you at this time and your vote. So please do your part. Every last citizen needs to go to the polls and vote at this particular time, and just let their godly principles be known through the compassion that they're sharing as they vote for candidates of compassion, candidates who care, candidates who are going to be on the front lines of the poor, the fatherless, the widowed, the hurting, the homeless, and the elderly at such a time like this. We need to be praying for our country. We need a healing in our country at this time in so many, many different ways. And you have been given that opportunity to bring forth that healing as you pray for this country and as you vote. So please remember, this could be the most important election in modern history. And that's why it's so absolutely essential that you go to the polls and vote.
And welcome back. We're 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, the New Life Evangelistic Center. And Reverend Larry Rice has been here almost 50 years, not at this facility, but doing what he does, providing services that he does for almost half a century. My guest is Evelyn Rice-Peebles with City Parks and Forestry and Recreation. Ms. Peebles, our producer, Bob Dimler, asked you a question. What's the criteria for closing parks, and how many are opening, and why are some open and some not?
Technically, none of the parks are closed.
Okay.
The protocol that the Parks Division is following, and I'm not over the Parks Division, my peer, Kim Haley, is, but the protocol that we're all following is from the Department of Health, and it is to limit vehicular traffic in parks, as well as to eliminate and limit congestion in parks. We want people to enjoy parks. We want them to be able to walk their dog, sit down and have cheese and crackers or whatever, and enjoy being outside. But we don't want the large gatherings, the large numbers of vehicles. We must be very careful about children being on playgrounds. So everything that the Parks Department is doing is to assure safety and access to people, but not for large events, not for large numbers of cars, not the congestion, the traffic jams, and so on.
Sure. I noticed O'Fallon Park, they gather there all the time. They're sitting on their cars and having fun, and I assume that that's not a good thing. And most of them are not wearing masks at all. If one wanted to have an event in the park after this pandemic, or even now, what procedure would they follow? How would they get a place that if wanted to have a family reunion or gathering, space, social spacing? How would that come about? What would they do?
They would call the Parks Department.
Okay.
289-5300 would get them in our system, and they would speak to a professional there who would talk to them about what they want to do. They would share with them what the protocols are, the number of people that can attend, the social distancing, the fact that I believe still there's no glass bottles and things like that.
Right.
We have rules, again, that are really for the safety of the public, but if they would call 289-5300, that would get them started, because we are open to working with the public to the extent that we can. We want to keep them safe, and we want to keep everybody else safe as well.
Recently, I've noticed that the parks are much cleaner. Was there an effort at one time to say, we've not done a good job, we're going to do a better job? Because I noticed people are using the garbage cans, they're throwing their waste in different receptacles. So the parks are very clean now. Well, how did that come about?
Well, again, I have to take my hat off to Kim Hagley, the park commissioner, and the director of parks, Greg Hayes, they are meticulous about the parks. They treat the parks as if it were their front lawn. And what we say in-house is, if you wouldn't have it at your home, why would you have it in a park? So they put forth an effort to make more cans available. I believe they pick up more routinely. They're very careful. And most of the people who work in the parks division, who actually maintain the parks, really, really care about their parks. They want them to look nice. We want people to say what you just said, that the parks look nice.
You know, everyone knows Evelyn Rice-Peebles. When I mention your name, everyone knows you. So your outreach has been pretty predominant, and you've been like an ambassador for goodwill for the park district.
Thank you.
What is true, and how do you maintain your communication skills? How do you maintain your visits? Because I notice each center you are at one time, and you visit them regularly. How do you maintain that schedule?
I do. I must say, all my help, all my strength, all my everything comes from the Lord. I am a serious, Jesus-loving person. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. And anyone who knows me knows that. And I can entertain and listen and be respectful of other faiths and so on, but I'm straight Jesus Christ, 100%. He holds me, he strengthens me, he guides me, he leads me. And there have been difficult times. There have been times when I stood alone, but unseen is that I was standing with Jesus. As far as being at peace and communicating, I've been taught my entire life to treat people the way I want to be treated. So I begin from a place of respect. However, if we are not able to resolve things, I'm not a punk. I don't back down easily. I hold my ground. I'm here to serve, and I really care about St. Louis. I remember when we were great, and I believe that we can be great again, but we have to stay the course. We have to work together.
I know it's the stakeholders how you in high esteem. Once again, I mentioned before in the last segment about your religion, about your faith, and you just kind of espoused on that a little bit. Tell us more about who conditioned you to be the Christian that you are.
I would have to say my mother and father. I often say to people, whatever I don't do well in life, I can never say I had a difficult upbringing. I had parents who loved me. I grew up in Pleasant Green Missionary Baptist Church. And when I was in the church, if you talked or chewed gum, somebody could come pat you on your little leg with a little ruler. So many wonderful people came up in my church. John Hayden, the police chief, Flint Fowler, Jeanette Brown, Greg Davis. We just all came up in church together, and I'm rooted and grounded in the Lord, 100%. I don't do anything of my own strength. Everything I do comes through Jesus.
Now, I notice that you have a lot of community outreach. You help other organizations. I'm living proof of that. How did that come about also?
I believe in giving back, and sometimes I'm not political, but I work in an environment that sometimes is. We believe in helping those who have someone in power speak for them. Well, I believe in helping those who have no one to speak for them, who want to do a community event, who have no money, and who say, can you just work this out with us? And I have laid the groundwork that we do that. And I have found amongst other commissioners and directors, if you ask them with honor and explain that this will benefit a little guy, most say yes. There's a predisposition to be positive rather than negative. And it's the way that I grew up.
Wonderful. I guess I can reveal this, that the National Black Radio Hall of Fame received a grant from you to teach radio and open up an internet radio station at Tandy, and that'll be coming very, very soon. We want to thank you for that.
You are so welcome. My thinking, and I'm so glad the director agrees with me and others, every child is not athletic. So in the recreation centers, we have to offer more than sports. So to offer the arts, dancing, how to work on the radio, how to spin records, how to cook, how to make quilts, how to sculpt, how to take pictures, how to see the beauty around you in life, how to see our mission. You asked me earlier about our mission.
Yeah.
We want young people to see the beauty within themselves. Don't let the media or others or people in power or videos determine your worth or your value. You don't have to look a certain way or be a certain size or show your entire body to be loved, respected, and honored.
Ms. Evelyn Rice-Peebles is my guest here. She's from Parks and Recreations and Forestry from the city of St. Louis. And we're here at the New Life Evangelistic Center, 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, 63114. Reverend Larry Rice, like I said, has been here nearly 50 years. Not here, but 1411 Locust Street. They're trying to reopen that facility. In the meantime, please help us through your donations and gifts, through love, through Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, 63166. Back with Evelyn Rice-Peebles after this.
The Bernie Hayes program is produced at NLEC TV right here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. It's our new headquarters since they closed the 1411 Locust building. We're working to get back into that building. In addition to that, trying to help so many people through a wide variety of safe houses, training programs, transportation assistance, so many ways people are getting help because of all of you that are supporting the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. Now, if you'll send a gift of $25 or more, we want to send you this special, the Bernie Hayes Show cup. And we're giving that to people. It's just a way of saying thank you. So when you send your gift, request a cup. We'll be happy to get it off to you. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. Now I'm really asking all of you to join us in praying. The needs are so phenomenal at this particular time. So many hurting and homeless people are contacting us daily, but we're able to help them because of each one of you that are praying, caring, and sharing at this time. Tell your families and friends about NLEC TV and get directly involved yourself.
We'll return to our guests after this Black History moment. Alexa Irene Kennedy, MD, was a pioneer of her time, both for women physicians and African Americans, when she became the first African American woman neurosurgeon in the United States in 1981. Born in 1950, Kennedy grew up in Lansing, Michigan. She graduated from the University of Michigan in 1971 with a degree in zoology. Kennedy went on to graduate cum laude from the College of Medicine at the University of Michigan. In 1976, she began her residency in neurosurgery at the University of Minnesota, which she completed in 1981. At 36, she became the chief neurosurgery at Children's Hospital in Michigan, where she cared for young patients facing life-threatening illnesses, gunshot wounds, head trauma, hydrocephaly, brain tumors, and spine abnormalities. Kennedy officially retired from practicing medicine a second time in 2012. She continues to be an advocate for encouraging young women to pursue careers in medicine and neurosurgery. Alexa Irene Kennedy.
Hear this, you who trample the needy and do away with the poor of the land. Let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. You trample on the poor and force him to give you grain. Therefore, though you have built stone mansions, you will not live in them. Though you have planted lush vineyards, you will not drink their wine. For I know how many are your offenses and how great your sins. You oppress the righteous and take bribes, and you deprive the poor of justice in the courts.
Thanks to New Life Evangelistic Center, thousands of mothers with children around the world can stay together. They can pursue their educations, and they grow in grace and in the knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thank you to all of our Club 24 members who make this miracle happen.
And welcome back. My guest is from the Division of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry at the City of St. Louis, Evelyn Rice-Peebles. Ms. Peebles, you have concerns about race relations in the area?
I do. It's hard to be, I talk straight, so it's hard to be Black in St. Louis and not have concerns. Although my white comrades also have concerns. I started a group along with Kim Everline and Pat Cox called the Women's Group for Race Relations.
Okay.
And our whole mission is we started with women because we are women, to get women of different backgrounds and different socioeconomic status and different persuasions into the same room at the same time to have straight conversations about race. We've been doing that now. It would take Pat to count, but I think we've been doing it about 8 years.
Wow.
We have over 600 members. We are completely free. We are Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. We are Jewish. We are Buddhist. We have all these women, and what we do is get together and talk frankly about race and then put together plans to address it. And the most important way to address race on an individual basis is within your own sphere of influence. For example, if your husband makes a remark that's really inappropriate, or your child says, well, the Black kids in class always mess up the test, something like that, it gives a woman an opportunity to say, wait a minute, let's talk through that. Why did you say that? So we've been doing this work, and what I find is many people have a good heart. They don't use race as a way to hurt each other, but they need a specific methodology for what they can do. And at WGRR, we tell women what they can do. And we have men as guests, and we tell them what they can do also. Because the racial divide here has to be addressed. This foolishness has to stop. Everyone has to be valued. Law enforcement has to value Black children. Black children have to value each other. White children have to value Black children. We just have to value each other.
Really?
There is one race of people with 2 eyes, 1 nose, and 1 mouth. And we are the human race. And we need to behave like that. And we need to not avoid the subject of race in St. Louis. It's everywhere. It just has to be addressed.
How can one reach you?
I can be reached at 289-5320. The Women's Group on Race Relations, we are on Facebook. And also, if someone reaches out to me, I will get them in touch with the Women's Group on Race Relations. And there's also, as I said, Kim Everline and Pat Cox. There's also Debbie Kilmer. And then we also have our 2 co-chairs right now who are doing just a fabulous job.
I noticed that mostly organizations like you just described are usually led by women, and not putting the men down in this area, but every group that I hear that's reaching out, except for those who are doing the most protesting, are women's groups. And how do you account for that?
I'm not sure. I think the heart of a woman, as a great writer wrote, I believe it was Maya Angelou, women have a heart that's different. One of my favorite sayings, a Native American saying, women hold up the sky. I think that's so true. We have a heart, a spirit, a love that overcomes some of the traditional Western ways of thinking that I think get in the way of men who can make decisions.
You are a classic example of all that you just described, and I want to say thank you so very, very much for visiting with us. Even in this pandemic, you took time to come visit with us here at the New Life Evangelistic Center and the Burning Hayes Show. Thank you, Evelyn Rice-Peebles.
Thank you so much for having me, Bernie.
It's really a great thing. And I want each and every one of you to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you for continuing to support Channel 24.2 and NLEC TV. I'm Bernie Hayes. Reverend Larry Rice is here. This is Zaki Parudi and all the wonderful shows here on Channel 24.2. Have a great day. Until next time.